Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where we always have something to say about the Blue Jays. I am your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlock. And today, we're coming at you guys again with another one of our top 5 coming into 2021. Today, we're doing catchers. Before we get into that, though, guys, I just want you to please like, comment, subscribe, do the whole thing. Good for the YouTube algorithm. And become a Patreon member if you like. It's $3 a month. And you can say we will say anything that you want us to say on the podcast.
Ask us a question. Wish your mom a happy birthday.
Truly, the possibilities are endless. So, without further ado, let's get into the top 5 catchers coming into 2021. Before, though, I just want to say this is a projection. This is a projection. This is what we think, not what they have done their entire career up until this point, but what we think is going to happen in 2021.
Yeah, because if that's the case, like I've got like Miguel Cabrera, I've got like not for catchers, but like for in general, right?
Yeah,
It's
boring.
These are guys coming in. This is the guys in the now.
Yeah,
okay.
This is the guys in the not even the now, but in the future.
In the future now.
Future, bro.
That's what we think's gonna happen. But we always like to start it off with a little bit of an honorable mention. And
who you got, dude? Who you got?
We've got Buster Posey coming in at the honorable mention spot.
Talk about a guy who's been good his whole career.
Literally. And the thing is, because catchers are so thin, and Buster Posey didn't play in 2020. He opted out of the season. But his career has been so ridiculous. You know, winning MVP, Rookie of the Year, 6-time All-Star, 3-time World Series, Gold Glove, batting title, 4-time Silver Slugger. It's incredible. However, Buster Posey has been slipping a little bit in his slugging and just his overall.
Could be a bust soon.
He could be busting his career soon. However, if Buster Posey does come back in 2021 and puts up even a little bit better what he did in 2019, which was like, a slugging, it was kind of garbage. It was
the slugging. Well, there's the thing. The batting average in 2018 and 2019 weren't atrocious, actually. They were pretty good for catchers. Yeah. But what has been lacking, what we've seen, and this is the trend for Buster Posey, and this happens for anyone who's getting older. Like, it makes sense. You're getting older. Your muscles are not as strong as they used to be. Your slugging goes down a little bit. And that's been something, unless you're literally Nelson Cruz, who just seems to get stronger and more powerful with age. Typically, your slugging goes down. And that's kind of what's been happening with Buster Posey.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'd say if he can come out and bat the same average that he's done pretty much his whole career, but just get a little bit more slugging in there, maybe, who knows, in this 2020 season that he took off, and he did it, I think it was because of COVID reasons, that's right. If he was, hitting the gym the whole time, doing very good things to his body, putting the stuff in that he needs.
Going to the cages, working on the diamond.
Exactly, bro. I could see him coming out here and immediately reasserting himself in the top 5. He did hit for 336 in his MVP year. Yeah. And anyone who wins MVP at a catcher, they should be talked about.
Yes, absolutely. So Buster Posey, give it your best all. Give it your best shot. Giants need you, definitely.
They need a lot more than just you.
They need a lot of things.
You'd be a great start. You know a team that doesn't need anything? In fact, I would say that all of us need them to stop getting things and to start donating some of those assets over to some teams in need, aka the Blue Jays. I'm talking about the LA Dodgers, and I'm talking about their new catcher, a guy who is very young, short sample size, but he has looked good. Not the actor, the catcher, Will Smith.
Will Smith is incredible. Yeah, short sample size, like you said. He's only had 284 career at-bats. That's very, very small. But in that short frame, he's hit 268, an OPP of 363, and his slugging. And this is the one stat that's...
The brother smacks.
Yeah, he smacks at 574. And his expected slugging is a little bit lower than that, like at 538, but still, it's hitting and it's landing for him.
Exactly, buddy. Anytime that you see, and I always notice this with expected batting average, expected slugging, for the good players, typically, like Mike Trout's expected batting average is incredible, but his batting average is still higher than his expected batting average, If you're getting an expected slugging around the 500 mark, that is all you got to be doing, man. You are going to be smacking. You are going to be smacking.
And put this in perspective with Will Smith is, I love this stat, the home runs or the at-bats per home run.
It's ridiculous.
It's 12.3 at-bats for every home run he's hit so far. So we had to give this guy a spot on this top list because if he's able in 2021 to continue this, number 5 is not high enough. It would be much higher. There are people that he would skyrocket over.
This is, and I said it before we made this podcast, I said this guy is the Bo Bichette of catchers.
Yeah.
Bo Bichette, when we did our shortstop video, didn't make it, but that's because you got guys like Tim Anderson not making the list who hit 335 and
Bogarts.
Exactly. Bogarts literally not making the list either. So that's why he didn't make the list, but catchers isn't as deep. And when you have a catcher who is out here smacking as many home runs as you're saying, that is something to be desired. And I mean, once again, I say I am worried about the LA Dodgers, as should the entire MLB.
Hopefully that salary tax catches up with them and they start shedding some pieces.
Eventually. You gotta hope, man.
Yeah. So Will Smith, great. But number 4.
Yeah, who we got at number 4?
Number 4, well, I'm a little spoil here. I mean, it's not as exciting as I like number 5. But you got to give this guy number 4 based on what he's done in his career.
Yep.
And what his floor and expected to do, and that is Yasmani Grandal. 9 seasons in the league.
Right.
He is incredible he's defensively incredible, and he's got a great plate approach. And his career numbers are pretty consistent. His batting average is around that 240 mark.
Yep.
His on base percentage like 348.
Pretty sure his career batting average is 240 actually.
Yeah, literally 240. Yeah. And slugging is 445, and he is what he is. He's going to give you that. But
he did not make this list because of the bat. And you said it when you were introducing him. He made this list because of his defense. Yeah. And he made this list because of his plate approach. He has always been an exceptional walker. Will Smith is the Bo Bichette of catchers. This guy is the Kevin Biggio of catchers.
Yeah, literally.
He is exceptional at walking. He is not very good at hitting for a lot of power or hitting for a big average.
Yeah.
But he makes up for it with his exceptional framing ability, and that's something that we're looking at too here, guys. With a catcher, I mean, if you have a great catcher behind the plate, that elevates your pitcher too.
Yeah,
if they can frame the ball really well.
You look at Russell Martin when he came to the Blue Jays, he elevated all of our pitchers, and an all-star catcher does that. That's Yasmani Grandal for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had to give him the number 4 spot. Now, do I see this guy excelling above this? No. I see literally number 4 is his ceiling to me.
Well, I mean, he hit 230 last year. He had an on base of 351, so incredible walking.
Right.
And then he had a slugging of 422. That's all kind of below career average for him. I do think that will rise a bit to more of, once you're 9 seasons in, it's kind of all right, this is what he is.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he will get back to the 240 area as far as batting average goes. The on-base percentage will probably remain the same and, give or take 15, 20 points in the slugging. So, I mean, he's not going to go crazy with the bat, but no. I think he's going to do enough at that catcher position, plus the other things that he brings to the team to earn a spot on this top 5 list.
Yeah, he's a top 5 catcher, and that's what you expect coming into 2021.
Yeah.
Now, who do you got at number 3?
Number 3. Okay, so this guy, he is aged 28 years old. I feel bad for him because his team is kind of burning around him right now.
They're imploding.
They're doing a bit of an implosion. The guy is Willson Contreras, and the team that I'm referring to is obviously the Chicago Cubs, who are, chipping things off left, right, and center.
Yep.
I know that they were talking about trade or potentially moving Willson Contreras.
Yes, they are.
Probably get a good slice of the pie for this guy because he has been good. He's a 2-time All-Star. We were talking about Yasmani Grandal being good at framing. This guy's even better. He's got an 85th percentile in framing. Yeah,
in 2020. And his WAR, I love looking at their WARs for catchers, and he's been very consistent. I looked at the last 3 years before 2020, so 17, 18, 19.
Yeah.
And his WAR's been 3.9, 3.1, 3.1. I didn't count 2020 because obviously it's going to be a lot lower because they didn't play as much.
That is very true.
But you can rely on this guy. He's solid, consistent player, and he's only had 5 seasons in the league.
Yeah.
So there is somewhat room for a little bit more improvement if you want to believe it.
Yeah.
And Willson Contreras, if the Blue Jays are looking for a catcher like a JT Realmuto, yes, we have Kirk and yes, we have Danny Jansen, but Willson Contreras would be an excellent catcher to have. Now we can start moving some of these catching prospects that we've had in our system. So Willson Contreras is a solid guy. Definitely awarded the number 3 spot.
Yeah, no, he seems to be very solid. I think that we're getting a pretty stable floor with this guy. And then considering the age and considering that there is still room to grow, I don't know if we've seen the best out of Willson Contreras yet. And that is why I think he's number 3 on this list. He's very stable, but there could be even more. I just had this thought right now. But I was like, you're talking about the Blue Jays maybe trading for him. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe. But you know what? What about like the Yankees are in a bit of a catcher problem right now. A guy who would have made this list last year, but is no longer on this list or was even thought about was, obviously Gary Sanchez, incredible home run hitter, but, didn't know the bat from his, left foot last season for some reason.
He was horrible. I think he was the fastest catcher in history to hit 100 home runs.
I believe you're right about that.
Which is incredible.
I think he was the, second fastest player ever
in history to hit 100 home runs. So, like, obviously, people, those Yankee fans out there, they're like, where's Gary Sanchez? Like, we honestly, I didn't even look at him, but just because of how horrible he was last year.
You know what? I'm pretty confident. Let me look it up right now. But I believe that he hit sub 150.
Yeah, like that's horrible, guys. Like I'm sorry. Like if you're hitting sub 150, if that's the case, like you're not going to be on any list. You'd have to have like crazy Lindor Arenado careers and then do that to warrant.
No, he hit 147. And you know what? He has been very solid. Like, don't get me wrong, I could see him bouncing back, but like his strength was always the bats. And when you hit 147, you're clearly not going to make the list. So maybe Yankee fans out there, maybe Willson Contreras is the guy to potentially target if Gary Sanchez does not figure it out.
They do have another catcher. I'm blanking on his name.
Do they? Is it a young guy?
It's a younger guy. They nickname him. Please let me know what his name is. It's like I want to say Himmy, but it's not Himmy.
I highly doubt it is Himmy.
But like that's the nickname for him. It's something
maybe Jimenez something.
No, it's a more of like an Asian name, like a Japanese. Yummy. I don't know.
Comments.
Let me know. Let me know.
Do it, guys.
Yeah. What's that guy? Because he's gonna take his job next year if they don't replace anyone else.
Yes.
Right. Number 2,
man. I never would have expected to have this guy on this list after, or like if we were to make this video last year, would not have expected that he would get to this point. And this shows how volatile this catcher top 5 is, guys. It's like it's not so deep. So you have a crazy year, you can launch yourself, and Salvador Perez is the guy who launched himself to number 2.
Yes, his 2020 was unreal.
Really unreal.
He had a big injury in 2019, did not play, but when he came back in 2020, let me read you some of these numbers. His batting average is .333. On base percentage is .353. That's not the important thing. The crazy thing is his slugging at .633 and his OPS at .986. And it's not a fluke, guys. His expected slugging was .624. That was top 2 percentile in the entire league out of anyone last year.
He was kicking ass. He was kicking ass.
Destroying.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's almost as if this guy, like, he had that horrible injury, and it's like he packaged both years into 1 year. And was like, you know what? Well, I didn't play last year, so I might as well just hit for both years this year.
Yeah, literally.
and he really did, man. And this is also, you said not a fluke. Well, this guy's been good his whole career. We're talking about a guy who's a 6-time All-Star from 2013 to 2018. Like, he was an All-Star right up until he got hurt.
And what also makes him impressive, not only his bat, but we're talking about the
you want to talk defensively too.
5 Gold Gloves. Mm-hmm. He has 5 Gold Gloves. So like obviously he's incredible. Yes. And his framing this year was a little bit off at like the 50th percentile. But I don't care. You win 5 Gold Gloves and your fielding percentage is .995. Yeah, you'll pass.
Yeah, and I mean, like, these numbers are, like, forget defense. Like, as long as you're not hurting us, which he wasn't, his defensive WAR was actually 1.2, so that's a bit above average. But realistically, like, this is DH numbers. Yeah. It's like you don't need to do anything defensively if you're batting like this.
And you talk about defensive WAR. I also have his offensive WAR. We're hammering you with the craziness of this guy's year last year. So again, 17, 18, 19. I looked at those 3 years. He didn't play in 19. Sorry. So I've got a 16, 17,
18. That's right.
And he's got a 2.9 WAR, 2.5 WAR, and 2.2 WAR. In 2020, which was shortened, as we all know, he was able to accumulate a 2.1 WAR. So if he continued his pace for the whole season,
look at 7.
It would have been like a 7.
Yeah,
a 7 WAR, offensive WAR for a catcher.
Yeah,
which is incredible.
That is incredible for any player, let alone a catcher. Yeah. So super happy for you, Salvador Perez. Like props, brother. Like, and he's only 30 years old.
Yes,
still a lot of years left. Man, this guy is super good, and I'm really happy that he bounced back from that injury.
Little note before we move on to number 1. Yeah, if he does do this again in 2021. I think he takes over the number 1 spot.
Well, all depends what number 1 does. Number 1 does the same thing. Number one
stays.
Will retain. And the number 1 guy, I'm sure that you guys could have guessed it. You probably saw it on the thumbnail. On the thumbnail, I'm assuming, unless we were trying to deke you out, and it's actually Christian Vasquez, but it's not Christian Vasquez. It's JT Realmuto.
Yes, JT Realmuto is. You know, I was saying before this, he's like Willson Contreras, but better. You know exactly what you get from him, but way better.
Right.
You know, his career batting average at 278, his on-base percentage 328. You know his slug is going to be good at 455. But what also makes this guy great, we talked about framing earlier, he's one of the best framing catchers in the entire MLB.
Yes, yeah. He was in the 95th percentile last season. This is no fluke. He elevates the pitchers when he's behind the plate. He makes them better. And he's also incredible defensively as well. He's one of the best out of all the guys we're talking about here. He is definitely one of the best in defensive WAR. Across the board, you know exactly what you're getting with JT Realmuto, as you were saying, and it's just a very, very good and reliable MLB player.
Now, this is I just saw this too. I saw some question marks around this one number, and I was like, oh, what? I did this like a week ago, guy. These numbers.
Okay.
So in 2020, he hit 266, which is totally fine for JT Realmuto.
Yeah.
But his expected batting average was 248. So I think that's why I put some question marks. Like, what happened there? But I wouldn't be too worried about it. I wouldn't be too worried. I think he's going to bounce back, and that number is going to raise up. But that is something to worry about.
Like, in the end,
bounce back.
He still hit 266 with an on-base percentage of 349 and a slugging of 491. So, you know, expected numbers, I love them. I think that they're great for looking at trends. But, you know, it's like when you are JT Realmuto and you've been doing this your entire career, and it's like, you know, a very like 266.
Yeah, I'm pulling hairs right now.
It's like I think he will be fine. Yeah. I think he will have a great season with whomever he decides to play with, because as you guys know, he is a free agent right now. Man is gonna get paid the big money.
Yes, he is.
He's gonna get paid the big money.
At least $100 million for JT.
Yeah. He will set a record for most money for a catcher.
If he beats Buster Posey, that's if he beats him.
I think he will. I think he will.
How much he will is Buster Posey? Like $150 million.
I'll take your word for it.
I'm gonna look it up because I remember because I was looking this up. I'm like, holy crap! Like he did make a lot.
Yeah. I mean, if you're MVP, absolutely. Yeah. But, you know, since then, because when did he sign his contract? That must have been like, what, 2014-ish era?
Does not telling me, but it's a $159 million contract, 8 years. So, yeah, I think it was about 6 years ago because he's got 2 years left on his contract. Regardless, $159 million, 8 years. Maybe most per year. Maybe
I think JT Realmuto will definitely do that. Because you're right, potentially he might not get an 8-year deal. Granted, he is 29 years old, but still 29 years old. You know, it's like if we were the Toronto Blue Jays to sign this 29-year-old to like a 6-year deal, I would be more than happy with that.
Definitely.
That will take him into his age 35 season. That'd be great for us. You know, we know who we're getting for time, and he's been doing this for a long, like his entire career, basically. I think that JT Realmuto will probably get. I don't exactly know what he's looking for. But if he wants a 6-7 year deal, he can get it.
Oh, I at first, like, I was all like, those who've been around, like, at first I remember when I heard the JT Realmuto rumors of like we're trying to get him, I was like, why the hell do we need him? But now I'm thinking about it and bringing in this veteran catcher, great at bat. First of all, can't complain about that. But you look at the hidden numbers, as I like to say, of what a catcher can do to a pitching staff.
Well, that's what we've been talking about this whole time, man. Yeah, they elevate it.
And our pitching staff needs work. So if you bring in these young guys and you got a veteran catcher like JT Realmuto, that is just anything but gold.
Yeah,
right
you want to talk about elevating Nate Pearson's play.
Yeah.
Who better to do that than a guy like JT Realmuto behind the plate? He's already getting the benefit of playing with a veteran like Ryu. And Ryu, like we've talked about before, has exceptional placement, which is something that Pearson needs to work on. So he's getting that veteran presence there, but to have an elite guy like Realmuto behind the plate would only ever elevate his game even more.
And someone you can trust too, right? Because for Nate Pearson to become like a really elite pitcher is to be able to hit the edges with consistency.
Yeah.
So to be able to have someone I can trust to bring in that pitch to look good.
Give me an extra inch there.
Give me that.
And I mean, like that would be huge for us. And I'd be very happy with that. So this is the list, guys.
Yes.
I hope that you guys enjoyed this video talking about the top 5. Please comment down below as to who you think the top 5 will be coming into 2021. Did we make any mistakes? Did we snub anyone? Somebody who I really liked but did not make any of this was Christian Vasquez. I think he will take another step, and maybe in the 2021 list he could make that category. So thanks a lot for watching.
Absolutely. And guys, make sure to check out our Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Breaker, Radio Public, Instagram, Twitter. Check out all those platforms. Our website even. We didn't ever talk about our website. Check out our website too. We got articles on there written by our very own Justin Walters.
We got so much stuff to talk about.
We have so much stuff going on there. And make sure, guys, also Patreon is $3 a month if you want to support the podcast. It's $3 Canadian now. So it's less than a Starbucks coffee. So
very easy to become part of our community, and we would love it so much. Guys, thank you so much for watching.
And go Jays go.